Hello and welcome back to another cost flow analysis tutorial. This time we're going to be doing our cost per equivalent unit. So your spreadsheet should look something like this at this point. And next thing we're going to do is come down to A56 and we're just going to put in our header cost per equivalent unit. And we'll give that, I'm going to make this, let's get that out of here, get this A column a little bit wider to handle it. And I'll give it the same treatment I've given all the other headers. Fill it black and color it white. Let's bold italicize it. And let's underline it too. Alright. So, okay. Needs to be a little bit larger. So the first thing when calculating our cost per equivalent units is we need our beginning work in process costs, followed by our costs added this month, and then our costs incurred. And that's going to give us our unit costs. So for our beginning work in process costs, what we're going to do is we're going to create an if-then statement. So if we're using the FIFO method, so if this is equal to FIFO, then we're not going to take into account the beginning work in process costs. So then we will return the value non-applicable. Actually, let's do that in lowercase. Non-applicable. But if we're using weighted average, then we want to use our beginning cost. So it's our cost added, which is going to be in C18. Or actually, if I highlight this range, so not just click on the cell C18, but highlight our whole range, cost added, it'll go cost added, and then it's going to reference the cell that's in the same column as it. So then our cost added, oops, and parenthesis. And good, that's going to give us the non-applicable sign that we want. Drag that across, and then to test that it's working, let's go ahead and change that. So let's say we're doing weighted average. Then, good. So let's change this back to FIFO. I'm going to make it capitalized this time. I like that a little bit better. And then our costs added per month, or this month. I'm sorry, I've gotten ahead of myself. Let me come back, get rid of that. This is going to be equal to our beginning work in process cost, not our cost added. What have I done? I do not want D17. I would like this range. There we go, beginning work in process cost. Now let's try this. Okay, much better. So I'd gotten ahead of myself because now what we want to do is add our cost added this month. So this is going to be equal to cost added. And then when I drag it across, there we go. You'll see that each cell is referencing the cell within the range that's in its own column. So now I'm going to go ahead and underscore that, and let's right align these non-applicables. There we go. And then this is just going to be equal to the sum of these two numbers. Drag that across. And then we're also going to sum the other way, horizontally, across like that. And then we're going to put in a check here. So we're going to say if summing across this way, wait, yep. So we're going to put in the check. So if, I was a little confused there because we don't have a value here, but that's because these are all non-applicables. So if the sum of those is equal to the sum across, then we want to take the sum of one of those. You can choose either one. I'm just going to choose across. Oops. There we go. I think that's easier, but you can also sum down if you want. Else we have an error. There we go. Let me drag this up. But I want this to not display anything for a 0 value. Let's put an if-then statement here. So if cost method equals FIFO, then we don't want anything. But if it equals weighted average, then we want it to equal the sum, sum of these. There we go. One more parenthesis. There we go. Okay, so again, to make sure this is working, let's go weighted average. There we go. Let's go back to FIFO. Alright, so now we're going to do our unit costs. So this is going to be equal to our costs incurred divided by our equivalent units. Let's go ahead and drag that across. This should be the sum of these. So we should get 6. There we go. And let me double underline those to make them stand out. Let's go ahead and bold them. I would like these all to have $signs, no decimal places. Negative numbers in red, although none of these numbers are negative. I just like to have it that way, and I've forgotten to underscore this. There we go. And this is our, oh, you know what? I lied. I do want decimal places on these. There we go. And that's our cost per equivalent unit, and the next thing we're going to work on is our cost allocations.